our last episode, we had some surprisingly unappetizing squid on a stick in Suratani. This time around, we take a short flight from Suratani to Bangkok and then hop on another bus bound for the amazing Khao Yai National Park and do our best to search for elephants in the wild.
Going back to Bangkok. Woo!
Got plain treats.
Bananas.
These things are good. Some fried bananas. From Suratani, it's only about a 1-hour flight to Bangkok. But since we can never pass up some food, we barely made it to our connecting bus on time. We made it. We don't know if we're going to the right place, but we made it on the bus.
All of our activities require stopping at food carts. Not only can we ride the chicken bus in Mexico, we can also do it in Thailand. There's chickens in that box.
There's another box just like that down below right next to my bag.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
And after a few hours on a chicken bus, we pulled into Pak Chong just as this night market was getting into full swing. Pak Chong's another bustling little city that's not on the typical path of most tourists visiting Thailand. But for us, we loved it. Partly because it gave us another taste of a real working class city in Thailand, partly because we just spent the entire day on a plane and on a bus, and getting lost in some random city streets is what we do best, but mostly it was about the food. Every place in Thailand we've been so far has some version of a night market, and Pak Chong was no different. It's where seemingly every person in the entire area comes to eat.
I think it's gonna burn my face off.
But even with rows and rows of food carts, we were in the area for something entirely different.
Oh no, I can.
If you're wondering, 6 fully grown adults will fit in this car.
Well, it depends on how you define fully grown.
And all their backpacks.
See you, Jody. Today, we're going to the... Where are we going?
Khao Yai.
We're going to the Khao Yai National Park. This is Thailand's oldest national park, and it has the best odds for seeing elephants of the wild.
Elephants, elephants, elephants!
This is gonna be great! And within just a few minutes of winding our way into Khao Yai, the signs were pointing us to success. So, off we went on foot to search. And on our way into this beautiful landscape, all manner of creepy crawlies were found. From spiders the size of grapefruits, to the much more pleasant swarms of fluttering butterflies, all the way down to these little things.
He's about this big.
But what was most exciting were these. We found elephant prints!
Just for a little scale.
Morning drinking.
Those are big elephant tracks. This Khao Yai National Park is roughly 2,200 square kilometers, and it's incredible. Not only are there, I think there's roughly 400 wild Asian elephants in the park, there's tons of other stuff, and I know the camera won't pick it up, but out in the jungle, it's wild animal smorgasbord. You can hear stuff going on like crazy. Monkeys, birds, snakes, lizards, bugs. You can hear them all. And after searching for elephants for a while, we came across a few of these.
The leech.
Who?
Leech, leech, leech.
Oh god! Good movie. Jason, what is it?
Leech, leech, leech.
Take a picture of it for Danica. Ew.
So we picked up some of these. What are you wearing, Brenda?
Leech protection? What are you wearing?
Nothing.
Oh, it's because I already got bit by a leech.
So far, Jason's got 3. I got 1. Brenda got 1, and Jen got 1. They're out to get us.
I'm the only one that actually has
Khao Yai National Park not only holds Thailand's best odds for seeing elephants in the wild, there's quite a bit of other stuff to see too. You're holding back?
when they're done.
With hiking trails varying from mild to wild, scattered all throughout the park, the sights and sounds of Khao Yai are within pretty easy grasp. Butterfly. Beyond the waterfalls and hiking trails, the park holds some pretty interesting roadside stands and viewpoints and vistas that put you on top of the world. But for us, the most exciting thing about the Khao Yai National Park was all the wildlife. Just about every section of the park we visited, wildlife was spotted. Everything from this giant monitor lizard to deer, rare endangered birds, even a couple of turtles sitting on logs. But probably our favorite thing was just hanging out watching the monkeys. With all the monkeys heading high up into the trees, we weren't quite sure if it was the coming rain or if possibly it was this guy. But for the best odds of spotting an elephant in the wild, it was on these viewing platforms just before sunset. So we gathered and we waited. But sadly, even though we had some pretty amazing scenery to stare at, and even though we caught a glimpse of more than just a few of these rare great hornbills, no elephants were spotted. Well, straight on the Khao Yai National Park website, it says this park has a nearly 100% chance of seeing elephants in the wild. We're part of the nearly that didn't see them. We hung out in all the elephant hotspots, but it just didn't quite happen. We even waited around for hours in spots. That's the way it goes. But I will say this national park is incredible. At this point, we've been to 50 or 60 national parks in varying different countries. And other than Yellowstone National Park in the United States, we've seen more wild animals here than anywhere else. That's pretty cool. One of our favorite things on earth is seeing animals out in the wild. So the fact that we got a bunch of those, can't beat it. And it's spectacular. But beyond not seeing elephants, I think if you're in Bangkok for any reason and can spare a day, go to the park. It's only a few hours away and totally worth it. It's incredible. But tomorrow, we're going to another one of the spots that's a must-see for us here in Thailand, and that's Suratani. I'm almost 100% sure I'm saying that wrong, but we're going there. It's an ancient historical city. It's just a handful of hours away by train. That's the other exciting part. I've never been on a train before, other than as a little kid on a steam engine sightseeing train, but never been traveling by train before, so I'm pretty excited about it. The downside, I think, is that we only got third class tickets, which may be boxcar seating. I don't know, we're gonna see when we show up. But that's all they had left. But I'm still pretty excited about it. We're hopping on a train. We're gonna see the countryside. So, after a handful of days in and around the Khao Yai National Park, we were out of there. And on to one of my favorite ways to travel through Thailand so far, this rickety old train. We got a fan. But that's about it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and join us next time as we make our way to the historic ancient city of Ayutthaya by this rickety old train.